Halloween, a night for costumes and candy. But beneath the surface lurks a darker side, a night when evil can wear many masks. For horror fans, one figure embodies this fear: Michael Myers. The masked killer from John Carpenter's Halloween haunts our nightmares. But few know the chilling truth behind the legend, a true story buried deep that's even more terrifying than fiction. Many believe Michael Myers is a product of Carpenter's imagination. They're wrong. His roots dig deep into the real world. A real-life horror story, shrouded in mystery and fear, planted the seed for Michael Myers. This isn't just a story about a movie monster, it's about the darkness that lives within us all. This is the terrifying true story that inspired Michael Myers. The legend of Michael Myers began not in the fictional town of Haddonfield, but in the hallways of Hollywood. John Carpenter, a young filmmaker with a vision, was searching for inspiration. He wanted to create a new kind of horror, something raw, visceral, and utterly terrifying. During an interview, Carpenter spoke of a chilling encounter. He met a psychologist who described a young boy he'd treated. This boy, disturbingly emotionless, radiated pure evil. This encounter, brief but powerful, sparked something in Carpenter. It planted the seed for an idea that would become a cultural phenomenon: Michael Myers. While the identity of the boy and the psychologist remain shrouded in mystery, the impact is undeniable. This brief encounter, a story whispered in the shadows, gave birth to one of horror's most enduring icons. While the psychologist's story planted the seed, a real-life tragedy fueled the nightmare of Michael Myers. The psychologist's insights into the human mind provided a framework, but it was the chilling events in a small town that truly brought the horror to life. In 1957, in the quiet town of Waterloo, Iowa, a horrific crime shocked the nation. This peaceful community, known for its close-knit families and serene atmosphere, was about to be forever changed. On a cold December night, 15-year-old Judith Myers was brutally murdered in her own home. The chilling winter air seemed to echo the horror that unfolded within those walls. The killer, her own 17-year-old brother, John, a boy who, until that night, seemed like any other teenager, now transformed into a figure of unimaginable terror. The details of the crime were chilling. Judith, home alone, was stabbed repeatedly. The brutality of the act left the community in a state of shock and disbelief. John, found wandering the streets covered in blood, confessed to the crime. His calm demeanor and lack of remorse added to the horror of the situation. The motive, seemingly non-existent. He simply said, "I had to do it." These words, devoid of any clear reason, haunted everyone who heard them. This case, with its chilling lack of motive and brutal efficiency, sent shockwaves through America. The media coverage was relentless, and the story became a grim topic of conversation in households across the country. Years later, John Carpenter stumbled upon this story. As a filmmaker with a keen interest in the macabre, he was drawn to the eerie parallels between this real-life tragedy and the fictional horrors he sought to create. The parallels were undeniable. The young age, the brutal murder, the seemingly emotionless killer. Carpenter saw in John Myers the perfect template for his own creation, Michael Myers. Carpenter found his inspiration in the chilling reality of the Iowa tragedy. This real-life horror story provided the foundation for one of the most iconic characters in horror cinema, forever linking the fictional world of Michael Myers with the tragic events in Waterloo, Iowa. Echoes of reality, from true crime to cinematic terror. The similarities between John Myers and Michael are striking. Both were eerily emotionless, their acts seemingly driven by an unknown force. The age difference between John and his sister Judith mirrors that of Michael and Laurie Strode. Even the setting of Halloween, a quiet suburban street, echoes the normalcy shattered by Judith's murder. Carpenter masterfully blended reality and fiction. He took the raw terror of the Iowa tragedy and transformed it into a cinematic nightmare. The result was a new kind of horror, one that felt real, close to home, and utterly terrifying. The audience wasn't just watching a movie, they were experiencing a nightmare ripped from the headlines. This connection to reality, however subtle, is what makes Halloween and Michael Myers so terrifying. The man behind the mask, John Carpenter's vision of evil. John Carpenter, a master of horror, has a unique ability to tap into our deepest fears. His films are not just about the scares, but about the atmosphere and the tension that builds up to those scares. John Carpenter's genius lay in his simplicity. He didn't rely on elaborate special effects or excessive gore. Instead, he focused on creating a mood, a sense of dread that permeates every frame of his films. He understood that true horror doesn't need gore or special effects. It's about what you don't see, the unknown that lurks in the shadows. Carpenter's films are filled with these moments of suspense, where the audience is left on the edge of their seats waiting for something to happen. It needs atmosphere, suspense, and a monster that embodies our deepest fears. Carpenter's ability to create such an atmosphere is unparalleled. He uses lighting, sound, and camera angles to build tension and create a sense of unease. With Michael Myers, Carpenter created the ultimate boogeyman. Myers is not just a character, he is a symbol of pure evil. His blank, emotionless mask is a reflection of his soulless nature. He is evil personified, a blank slate onto which we project our own fears. The character of Michael Myers taps into the primal fear of the unknown, the fear of something that cannot be reasoned with or understood. The mask, a Captain Kirk mask spray-painted white, is iconic. This simple yet effective design adds to the character's mystique. The mask's blank expression makes it a perfect canvas for our imaginations to run wild. It's emotionless, devoid of humanity. This lack of expression is what makes it so terrifying. We cannot see what Michael Myers is thinking or feeling, making him unpredictable and unstoppable. We see no eyes, no soul, only a blank stare that seems to see into our very being. This creates a sense of vulnerability in the audience, as if we are being watched by something inhuman. This lack of humanity is what makes Michael Myers so chilling. He is not driven by any human emotions or motivations. He is a force of nature, an unstoppable entity that cannot be reasoned with. He operates on pure instinct, driven by an unknown force. This makes him even more terrifying, as there is no way to predict his actions or understand his motives. Carpenter's Michael Myers is not a man, but a force of nature. He is the embodiment of pure, unadulterated evil. This makes him a timeless character, one that continues to haunt audiences to this day. He is the boogeyman in the closet, the monster under the bed. These are the fears that Carpenter taps into, the fears that we all have from childhood. He is the embodiment of pure, unadulterated evil. Carpenter's vision of evil is one that is timeless and universal, a vision that continues to resonate with audiences around the world. Halloween night, 1963, a night of terror in Haddonfield. The air is crisp, the moon hangs high, casting an eerie glow over the quiet town. The streets are lined with festive Halloween decorations, but an unsettling calm lingers. Carpenter sets the stage for his nightmare in the idyllic town of Haddonfield, a place that seems perfect, almost too perfect, with its picturesque autumn leaves and peaceful suburban streets. A place where children play freely and neighbors greet each other with a smile. The community is tight-knit, everyone knows everyone, and the sense of security is palpable. But this tranquility is shattered on Halloween night, 1963. The darkness brings with it an ominous atmosphere, a sense of foreboding that something terrible is about to happen. 6-year-old Michael Myers, dressed in a clown costume, commits the unthinkable. His innocent appearance belies the horror he's about to unleash. He brutally murders his older sister, Judith. The act is not just a crime, but a moment that will haunt the town forever. The act is swift, brutal, and seemingly motiveless. It leaves everyone in shock, unable to comprehend how such evil could manifest in a child. The image of young Michael, standing on the front lawn, clutching a bloody knife, is seared into our collective memory. It's a haunting image that symbolizes the loss of innocence and the birth of a monster. This opening scene, chilling in its simplicity, sets the tone for the entire franchise. It tells us that no place is truly safe and that evil can lurk behind the most innocent of facades. It establishes Michael Myers not as a man but as a force of pure evil, an unstoppable entity that embodies our deepest fears, a force that can erupt anywhere, at any time, shattering the illusion of safety and security. The terror of Haddonfield is not just in the acts of violence, but in the realization that evil can strike when we least expect it, in the places we feel most secure. The Shape of Fear, Michael Myers, the unstoppable force. 15 years later, Michael escapes from the mental institution that has held him captive. Returning to Haddonfield, he stalks Laurie Strode, his younger sister, unaware of their familial connection. Michael, now a hulking figure in a white mask, becomes an unstoppable force. He moves with an eerie silence, appearing and disappearing at will. His attacks are brutal, efficient, and seemingly effortless. He is a predator toying with his prey, reveling in the fear he inflicts. What makes Michael Myers so terrifying is his resilience. He survives stabbings, shootings, even explosions, only to rise again. He is death incarnate, a force that cannot be reasoned with, bargained with, or destroyed.